on one second. All right, so let's see here. There we go. All right, so with the Schedule A, the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to put the name of the trust. Okay, so in the Schedule A, this is a part of the trust where we are identifying the property that is going to be considered and is going to actually put value to the trust fund for the trust to be able to create the trust certificate units. So the trust is going to create 100 trust certificate units in the exchange of whatever you are going to put here. So I literally put a $1 bill, okay? So that is what we're putting in exchange for the 100 trust certificate units, okay? So you can put more if you want. You can put $100 in there, whatever is applicable. All right, and then we're gonna put the name of the trust. So I'll go ahead and put March Family Dynasty. All right, perfect. And then we're going to put, so this is, like I said, this is what we're calling the consideration. And so what we're documenting here is that the grantor is handing over $1 to the first trustee. The first trustee is accepting that $1, and then the first trustee is going to then either put it in the trust fund if you have a bank account, or put it into a safety deposit box, or, you know, or held wherever trust funds are held, okay? So now go ahead and put the name of the grantor, and then go ahead and put the name of the first trustee, and then fill out the notary section. And then we're all done with the first part of the Schedule A. The second part of the Schedule A is where we are documenting the distribution of, or the disbursement of the trust certificate units, okay? So this is our Schedule A. We are all done with the Schedule A, okay? So we've documented our consideration. This is what we're funding the trust fund with. These are the people who need to sign, right? So the grantor, John Doe, needs to sign, and the first trustee, Christina, needs to sign, okay? This is the notary section. And then from there, we're going to the second page. Within the second page, we do have to put the name of the trust. So go ahead and put the name and the address. Like I told you guys yesterday, right? The address of the trust should be an address that you have never been associated with, okay? So if you're able to do that, where you can get like a virtual address or a commercial address, so that you are not jeopardizing the trust, because the whole point is for privacy and obscurity. And so you don't want the trust to be associated with the address that you're associated with, just in case they try to do any type of skip tracing or anything like that. So let's go ahead and put the name of the trust. All right, and then we have the address of the trust. And now at this point, what we're doing is we are identifying who the trustee is assigning the trust certificate units to. So this is where you're going to put the beneficiaries, okay? So some people decide to put their children's name here. Some people decide not to put their children's name here, because in the event that the family trust is dissolved, what happens is all of those assets are now going to go to your children's personal names, right? And so if they go to your children's personal names, guess what? You're back to square one, where now they're going to end up in probate, or now they are going to be in an unsafe, liable situation to where someone can sue them for their inheritance, right? So some people decide to create a trust for every individual child, right? I have some people in the community where their children have, also companies too, right? So whatever is associated with your child, right? So you can put it as an entity, like we said. So if you want to create a trust for your child, if you have 4 children, you want to create 4 trusts for one for each individual child, you can do that. And you can put those beneficiaries, those entities as the beneficiary of your family trust. I see some families do that. But some families decide that they want to put their children here. So whatever you decide or whatever is in the best interest for your family, okay? So let's just say you have 2 beneficiaries. So one is for John Alex of the family, we'll just put Yvette. And then another one is for Mary Ann of the family, Yvette. And that's it, right? So now I have 2 beneficiaries. That's their names. This is the grantor. All right. And then this is, we're going to put the state and the county. And then the year. And that's pretty much it for this section. So here, all you're doing is identifying how many TCUs and the beneficiary's name and the family that is a part of the beneficiary, okay? So we are all done with this section. It does need to be notarized. We're all done with this section, and now we're going to move on to Schedule B. For Schedule B, that is where we're going to list our properties that we're putting inside the trust, right? So let's just say that you are putting in your primary residence, right? So what you'll do is you'll put, let's just say you'll put real estate, right? And then you can put the address. And then you want to put the legal description of that property, okay? So with real estate, there's a legal description. So usually it is, whatever, lot 13, block this, block that, okay? So you have to find it on the county website, what the legal description is, okay? So that's real estate. Let's just say that you want to do, let's just say that you want to do crypto, right? So if you want to do crypto, then what you can do is you can put a brokerage or exchange, right? So let's just say brokerage, and then we'll put Coinbase, and then we'll put the currency, right? And then we'll put the account number, or whatever your account number is, right? And then whatever the currency is, right? So we'll put BTC of 41,000, right? So that is it for this, right? So you just want to identify the currency, the amount, and how you can actually find it, okay? So whatever assets you're putting inside of the trust listed here in the Schedule B. Yesterday and today, you guys received a workbook or a worksheet. It is the asset inventory list. So go ahead and take a list of your assets so you can know what you're going to put inside of the trust and what assets don't qualify to go inside of the trust. So you're going to leave it outside of the trust, okay? You have to know what assets you have before you start transferring into the trust, okay? And then you're going to list all those assets here. So that could be real estate, that could be a vehicle, that could be machinery, that can be equipment, weapons, jewelry. You can also put furniture. You can put a lot of stuff, right? You can put stocks, bonds, crypto, other fiat currency. So the list goes on, okay? So that's it. So now we have our assets in there. So we listed all of our assets in Schedule B. So now in Schedule C is where we're going to put the beneficiary contact information, okay? So here you're going to name the beneficiary. So I have two beneficiaries. One is John Alex, and John Alex, I'm going to put his date of birth, right? So his date of birth is December 20th, 2000. All right, and then we're gonna put Mary Ann. So her date of birth, I'm gonna do some copying and pasting here. So her date of birth is December 22nd, 01. All right. So now those are your two beneficiaries. Some people choose to put last four of social so that they could be identified that way. Some people choose to put their phone numbers, their addresses. So you can put whatever contact information here that you want so that the trustees are able to get in contact with the beneficiaries, okay? So now we're going to do the Schedule D. So the Schedule D is where this is a memorandum of personal property where you are identifying and you are directing the trustee to dispose of the assets inside of the trust in this manner. So you just put two assets in the trust, right? So on the Schedule B, you have real estate and you have BTC, right? So now what we're going to do is we are going to list this personal property here, right? So the first thing is we're going to put the name of the trust. So the name of my trust is March Family Dynasty. All right, perfect. And I got the address in there in Orlando. And so now what I'm going to do is I am going to put, I'm going to list the personal property, and then I'm also going to list who gets what, right? So what do you want to happen? So for example, this piece of real estate, who do you want it to go to? You have two beneficiaries. Do you want it to go to both, or do you want it to just go to one, right? So if you want it to go to both, then put, 50% to John Alex, and then the other 50% to Mary Ann, right? And then let's say the crypto, who do you want it to go to, right? Well, you want 100% of it to go to John Alex, right? So he gets all the crypto. So that's it, right? And so you're just going to continue to list all the other properties and the beneficiary that those properties are going to be given to, right? So in the event that the trust is expired, the trustee has to distribute those properties to the beneficiary, and you can direct the trustee to do that right here in the Schedule D, okay? So now let's move on to the certificate of trust. So in the certificate of trust, this is where we're actually identifying the trust, okay? This is the proof of identity of the trust. This is what you are going to provide to your banks, your dealerships, your title companies, or whoever you're doing business with, okay? In order to provide proof that the trust exists. So number one is the name of the trust. So go ahead and put the name of the actual trust, okay? And then number one is the name of the trust. And we're saying that the trust was created by the grantor on this day. Okay, so go ahead and put the actual establishment date. So we were using today's date, okay? So March 26, 2024. And then from there, let's see, March 26. All right, and then from there it says this and is the document that the certificate of trust summarizes for the purpose of funding assets into the trust or for any other purpose that requires the identification of the trust and the relevant trust provisions, okay? So number two, we are identifying that the grantor of the trust is John Doe. Number three, we're identifying that the grantor, the trustee of the trust is, and then go ahead and put whoever the trustee is, okay? So if that's you, put your name. So put is and then your name. Or if it's multiple, put are and then put the multiple people, okay? And then for the address, let's go ahead and grab this address. So the address of the trust, number 4, the address of the trust is, and then go ahead and put the address. All right, number 5, go ahead and put the type of trust that it is. So the trust is irrevocable. The grantor doesn't have any power to revoke or amend the trust during their lifetime. Number 6 is employer identification number, which is the EIN that we're going to receive for banking purposes from the from us submitting the form to the IRS. So you can go ahead and put that EIN number. We haven't applied for it yet, but when you do apply for it, then you can go ahead and put that number there, okay? So number 7 is declaration regarding the trust. So the trust is in effect as of the date of the certificate, and it hasn't been modified, revoked, or amended in any way, right, to make anything that's on this certificate incorrect, okay? So we're just saying that the trust was executed before this certificate was executed, okay? So now we're going to go on to trustee powers. So number 8, trustee powers. What we're talking about here is the provisions of the trust that contain the trustee powers are attached to this certificate. It's attached as a Schedule A of the certificate. So if we scroll down, we see Certificate of Trust, Schedule A, Trustee Powers. So these next 2 pages are the provisions of the trustee powers, okay, so that people know that you are able to act on behalf of the trust. Number 9 is waiver of claim. So the grantor and the trustee waive any actions against the person or organization that relies on this certificate of trust, right? So that means that you are not going to make any claims against the dealership because they put the wrong address, but here you had an outdated address, okay? So that means that you're going to hold them harmless of anything that is on this certificate that's incorrect. Number 10 is validity of copies of the certification. So this copy of the certificate needs to be considered as an original. So if you're handing it over to the dealership, they are going to make a copy of it. They're going to send it to their legal department or their headquarters, and they need to consider it as an original. And the last part is the action by the trustees. So all of the trustees that are acting, meaning you and any co-trustee that you appoint, their names need to be on the certificate. Their signature also needs to be on the certificate, okay? And with that being said, they can work independently to bind the trust in any transaction application that they need to, okay? So now you're going to put the name of the grantor so that they can sign. This needs to be notarized. So we're going to put their name here, John Doe. We're going to put our name as the trustee. And then we're going to go ahead and put the state and county where the trust is being notarized and the year. And then the notary will continue to do their part. And so then we are literally all done. So we're all done with their certificate. This is a certificate. This is the Schedule A of the trustee powers. And then this is our administrative contact information. So if you have a co-trustee, put their name, address, and phone number. If you have a successor, put their name, address, and phone number. If you have a trust protector, put their name, address, and phone number. If you have a secretary, you're going to copy, paste, label their position. As secretary, put their name, address, and phone number. If you have a treasurer, name, address, and phone number. If you have anybody else, put their information. So we are all done with the family trust. So we have put that thing together. And we went over a lot of information, you guys. So whatever questions that you might have, go ahead and raise your hand so that I can answer any questions that you might have. I see Patricia has a question. Hey, Patricia.
Hello, Christina. How are you?
I'm good. How are you, Patricia?
Awesome, awesome. Just God, I get so overwhelmed with all of this information, but we're going to get this together.
Yes.
Now, when you go to the bank, because you're going to have some information. Now, I'm going to the bank where I already have an account,
Okay.
and so I'm going to assume that I set up a different account for the trust account because now we're talking about two different addresses. Is that right?
Yeah. So, one, I would not go to the same bank that I have a personal account with.
Oh, okay.
I would choose a totally different financial institution. So that's first thing because you don't want them to merge your files because you are already associated with them on the personal, so you want to go with a bank that you're not associated with. So that is the best practice. And that's all new information, right? So if you choose a bank
Right.
that you're not associated with, then you don't have to worry about the address that you have on file and all this stuff. You give them all of the trust information.
Okay. Good deal.
All
All
right.
right. And I
Yeah.
tried to do a consult with you, and for some reason it wouldn't go through.
Oh my God, somebody else told me that. I'm so sorry. If anybody is having problems with my calendar, let me know. I'm gonna test it out. I'm gonna have my IT guy work on it. I don't know what happened, but I did get a message yesterday about the same thing. It didn't go through. So it must be broken. So just send me a message and I'll manually put you on my calendar until the IT guy can fix it, okay?
All right. Good deal. All right.
Okay.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Okay.
And my IT guy, hey, he has a name. His name is Ron. I don't know why I'm calling him IT guy. What is wrong with me? What? Okay. So, hey, Deborah, how are you? Hey, Deborah. All right. So you're still on mute. I can't hear you.
Sorry, I just realized that.
Okay. All right. Awesome. Awesome. How are you, Deborah?
I'm doing great, thanks. When you have you're saying put your personal property into the family trust, there's a mortgage on it or a HELOC. Mine actually has a HELOC on it. Do I change that into the family trust as well, or does it stay in my name?
It can stay in your name and it can stay on your credit. So it's not going to affect you deeding the property over from your personal name into the trust.
Okay, and then I had several questions. Let me bring the mortgage, and then on section 3, one of up in the early one, you have the IRC, which is the Internal Revenue Code.
Yeah.
Happen to have the code number on that? Because it says by this on the code, but it doesn't state the code.
Okay, yeah. So when we do yes, so the code is not there. And so we do that intentionally because we don't want like the IRS code inside of our common law trust. But it's on the SS4, the different structures that they recognize.
Okay,
So that's one way that you can find it. The other way is through their website.
okay. Yeah, I've been doing quite a bit of research on how the IRS taxes this type of structure and all of that, and I'm totally confused, but I'll get there.
Yeah,
Thanks.
you're welcome. Well, let me know if you need any help. I can be a resource. So if you message me, I'll find the code for you and I'll email it to you.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. Here, I'm gonna write that down. Who's next? Let's see. Oh, okay. Hey, Miss Bay, how are you?
Hey, beautiful. How you doing, young
I'm
lady?
I'm doing good. You look great today.
I'm just here. I'm looking at these mounds of paperwork here on my desk.
Yeah,
I get there.
I love to see you on camera.
You do? Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Yeah,
I try not to come out too much.
Your earrings are beautiful. Look, I have really big earrings too today. Look at this.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I just wanted to ask about the TCUs
Yeah.
because I'm still trying to wrap my head around how do you really leave your children anything if you're not okay, you say we have part beneficiary and trustee, but if it's not really beneficiary, so there's no TCUs on that for us, is that correct?
Right. So you can be a beneficiary if you want to. So you have to think about it. Do you have to be a beneficiary?
Well, I've changed my name, so therefore the person who was the beneficiary is no longer the beneficiary. The person who has the new name is the beneficiary now. You see what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So, I am still kind of beneficiary because I just changed my name. You know what I'm saying? So I
Yeah.
don't really know how I'm still trying to figure out how to wrap my head around it because, um, if you're giving your children equal TCUs, so basically the trustee is compensated through loans and things like that through the trust. Is that how trustees are mostly compensated? I just
So
want to know.
yeah, so you can do okay, so the way that you can be compensated is you could 1099 yourself and get a salary through the trust, okay?
How do you do that?
Um so you would do you would fill out a W-9.
I
Um
W now.
yeah, you would fill out a W-9 and then that would put you in the position to where you can now 1099 yourself out of that entity. But the thing is, if you 1099 yourself as an independent contractor rendering services to the trust, then you're going to be taxed on whatever salary that you're giving yourself, okay? So,
Uh-huh.
so that's one way. Another way is, as we learn, that you can take out loans from the trust,
Right,
right? And
right.
so those loans are not going to be taxed. So you have one way where you're going to be taxed, the other way where you're not going to be taxed.
Hmm.
So you can do both. And
Right.
then whatever you're doing for the trust, whatever actions that you're doing for the trust or business you're doing for the trust is going to is going to be taken out of the trust.
Hmm.
So all of that money for those expenses are considered trust business.
Hmm.
So one form of compensation that we talk about is trustees being able to stay inside of trust property, right? So that's one way. So it just depends. Um,
What about back pay? Because we be working the trust every day.
oh my goodness. That is so funny.
It's the truth.
Yeah, I know,
We
right?
do trust work every day.
Yeah, I
Even if
know.
it's studying, we still doing it.
Yes, I know. Right? Studying too. That's funny. You are hilarious.
I'm a
Yeah, that
professional
is true.
student.
Right, I know. I know. You are so right though. Yes. Yeah, but you know what? At the end of the day, it's up to your discretion, okay? So
Right,
it's up to your discretion what your compensation is as well as you're gonna decide what the compensation is going to be for the other officers that you appoint.
right, right. Okay.
Yeah.
All right then. Well, thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Who else do we have? What other questions? I'm gonna check inside of the let's see here. I'm gonna check inside of the chat. So, all right. So I have an appointment here. All right, I got you, Miss Patricia. Let's see here. So Maya said there are 3 virtual options. Which one do you recommend? And can you use the address for all 3? So I recommend the one that says business. You can use the address for all 3, but if you are going to start creating, if you're going to build business credit with the business trust, then you want a separate address for the business trust, okay? Because that business trust, you're going to be pulling it into the public because building credit is a commercial thing. So because you're going to create a credit profile that's going to be a public record for that business trust. So you don't want to use the same address for that business trust that has business credit for your other two private trusts. Marvia says, do they run your personal credit to set up a trust? So no, nobody runs your personal credit to set up a trust. The only reason that your personal credit would be used is if you was doing like a credit application, if you were doing like a personal guarantee, if you decided to co-sign for the trust or anything like that, okay? So if you're getting loans for the trust and the bank requires a personal guarantee and you decide to have them run your personal credit, then that's a decision that you will make, and then what you're talking about will be applicable. So yeah, they would run your personal credit, but that is only if you are applying for these financial things like a mortgage, like a car, those kind of things sometimes. So if you're building the business trust credit, then it'll stand on its own. And just depending on the income, it might not need a personal guarantee, but sometimes it does. And then you have to decide as the trustee if you want to be the personal guarantor for the trust. All right, and then let's see here. I don't think that there's any other questions in the chat. So we have Marquita has a question. Marquita, did I say it right this time?
Yes, you did.
All right.
Hi.
Hey, how are you?
Okay, good. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Good. All right. So my question is, can the grantor can't also be like the protector? Can they? Because the protector has a little bit more rights. So it has to be two separate people, correct?
Correct. Yeah, the grantor cannot be anyone else. The grantor can only be the grantor. The protector can only be the protector.
Okay, thanks.
You're so welcome. All right, Marvia, how are you?
I'm well, thank you. I'm finally here.
Yes, I'm
So
so excited.
I know. Okay, so I just heard you mention about the virtual addresses. So because it's three different entities, you need two different addresses.
So with the three entities, right? They are private entities. So if you want to use the same address, you can, right? With these three separate entities, right? You don't want to like commingle things, right? You don't want to be mixing things back and forth. So if you want to use three separate addresses, you could also do that. It depends on the virtual address company that you use as well, because some of the virtual addresses only allow one entity per address. Some of them allow an unlimited amount of entities per address. So it also depends on the company you use as well. But because they're private, right? So as long as you're keeping it private, it's not going to have a public profile. And so you can use the same address. But if you are going to, for example, like the example I just gave, if you're going to pull them into the public to where now they have a public profile, then you want to use different addresses.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. All right, we have Deborah.
Yeah, the protector, would that be better to have an individual or an attorney or a CPA, or what type of a person would you put in that position?
Yeah, so okay, so the protector has to be an adverse independent person. So it has to be someone who is not related to you, who is not related to the beneficiaries, who is not related to any of the board members or officers or any single person that is in there. So the protector does have to be an individual. So what you could do is you could, you could hire a total stranger to be a protector, or you could appoint someone like in a fiduciary capacity, like what you were saying, like a CPA or an attorney, someone like that. So someone who is, qualified to actually be in that capacity, right? And someone who is, able to make these type of decisions to where they are they have some type of knowledge of, of legal things, right? If there's any issues between the beneficiary and the trustee, because the protector is the middle person. So they are the middle person in between the trustee and the beneficiary, so that the beneficiaries don't drag the trustee to court. Right. And so you just want them to be an individual that's like well-rounded, that has some type of business knowledge, that has some type of legal knowledge, that's able to make these informed decisions to know, oh, I need an audit. Oh, we need to go to mediation. Oh, it's time to fire this trustee, right? So someone who can serve in that capacity. But this is an individual that that is, just like how you would hire a total stranger to come work in your business, that's how you would hire or appoint a protector, right? But at the end of the day, it's someone who's not related to you and who is agreeing to serve in that capacity and who's going to be compensated for serving in that capacity.
Got it. Thank you very much. I just don't know, because I mean, like I could go down, excuse me, walk down the street, go to Walmart and say, hey, would you be a protector? But that doesn't mean I trust them, or that doesn't mean that they would know what they're doing.
Yep.
So the biggest thing for me is attorneys are expensive. CPAs probably wouldn't do mediation, and Walmart person wouldn't have a clue. You know what I'm saying? So those are my thoughts instantly, like, well, where do you go?
Yep, that is so true. Yeah. So, absolutely, I agree with you. So there are companies that offer these different types of positions that can serve in a trust, right? That they can be a trustee, they can also serve as a protector. The protector is a optional position. So it's not something that you have to appoint right away.
Okay,
Because if you appoint a protector tomorrow, they're going to be watching you.
right.
Yeah. So that's why you want to think about it as a future thing.
Okay.
Because you don't necessarily need someone to watch you right now.
Right.
You want to put the protector as a safeguard for whoever your successor is.
Right. So specifically, my thought is not always do kids get along. Right.
Yeah.
Johnny doesn't like Joey. So
Yeah.
Johnny says, well, you gave him more than you gave me, and all of that stuff. I've been around too many estate plannings and on and on. Siblings tend to fight. So I like that idea. I just don't know where to acquire. But if there are companies that have protectors that are third party, that know trust, that are the same, then it would be definitely an outside, maybe not legal, but knowledgeable. That's what I want. Knowledgeable person to be able to mediate. Does that make sense?
Yep, I agree with you.
Okay.
Yeah. And so sometimes that's the best thing. Sometimes that's the best thing, to hire, a company to serve for those roles as a trustee or as the protector.
So you can actually hire a trustee so that you don't have to be it, because that's my neck, somebody brought it up here, and it was Ms. Bay but if I'm, excuse me, as the trustee, I'm trying to retire right now.
Yeah.
So I need, passive income, or I need some kind of income to retire on. But if I'm a trustee, then I'm probably not getting paid to do the normal things, unless I specifically have a board meeting while I travel to Dubai. You know what I'm saying? And then I can have fun, but I'm also doing a board meeting, which means all of that's covered. So I know there's ways to go about it, but I'm trying to figure out how to still have some income, but not be, um, not go against the trust rules, if that makes sense.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And so sometimes people they choose to take a lower salary, right? Like 30, 40, 50,000. And then for things outside of the salary, they'll take loans against the trust. So they'll do both.
Okay, that gets, I'm sure I'll have more questions, but that at least gets me thinking. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're so welcome. All right. And then we have Elaine. How are you, Elaine?
Hi, good afternoon. A little under the weather, but I'm all right, thank God. I
Yeah,
had a,
absolutely.
yes, it's always good to see you guys. Um, one quick question. On the very first page of the trust, at the bottom of that page, for some reason, I'm not able to edit the footer to add the name of the trust.
Oh, okay. So, what are you using? Are you using Microsoft or you're using Google Docs or?
Google Docs.
Okay. So, the way I do it, I just double tap on the area. If not, then you can go up to, I think it's like file or something like that. Hold on, let me see.
Okay. I did the double tap. I see it now.
It works.
I did the double tap. Yeah,
Is it
that
working?
was the part.
Yeah. Okay.
You
All
see,
right.
sometimes you just need that additional, sister in the lab kind of
Of
thing.
course, of course. Remember, I was
Yes.
just talking about my tech guy. I'm like, no, his name is Ron.
Mm-hmm.
I just
And
run to him for everything.
I had a thought regarding what the lady was saying just now about finding people to help to be protectors and so forth. And an idea, thought, what do you think of if you have a group, then, for example, within the wealthy trustee, we could serve as protectors for each other's trust.
Oh my God, that sounds so great,
And
honestly.
not only that, we could also be grantors
Yep.
of the
Mhm.
trust for each other,
Yep. Yes.
because we're all within the community where we have the knowledge and the understanding, and we know our limits, we know our roles, so we know how to govern ourselves accordingly, so we're not overstepping, we're just in our role, functioning in our role. So I'm thinking that if within this group that you have, the wealthy trustee, we could all or each other, we could find each other within the group to serve, to fill these roles for each other.
Yes, you are so right. And you are putting the biggest smile on my face, Elaine, because that is so true. That
Yeah,
is so true.
let's keep it all in the family.
Yeah, and that's what we're here for. We are a tight-knit community. There's over 400 of us that are trustees, and we could serve as. So we actually talked about this last week, when we had our meeting on the 19th. I think it was the 19th. I don't know, Flo, remind me. But there was a couple of us that I was one of them. Flo was one of them. I don't know if it was Tina or somebody else. There was a couple of us that we were saying that we will serve as grantors and or whatever whatever position that you like need help with, right? So some people are not able to find a grantor, right? Like they're whoever's next to them, they're fearful, they are, they don't have enough knowledge about it. They flat out said no. And so there's some of us in the community, me, Flo, and I can't remember who else it was that we said, well, we will serve as your grantor, since you can't find one, right? So now, Elaine, you're bringing this up where it's like, okay, if you can't find a protector, well, we can serve as your protector, right? Because
Yeah,
yeah, because we have, we're operating as trustee on our end, but we could operate as as a protector on your end because we have the experience or the knowledge or the desire capacity to do so. So you're so right. And that's what, that's what this is all about. That's why I try to keep us keep us in close communication on, on Facebook and stuff like that, because these are the type of things that are coming up to where we can be a resource for our fellow trustee, and we can, help in any way possible. And then some of us, we are in the same city, in the same state and stuff. So absolutely, Elaine, like me and Elaine, we are probably like 45 minutes from each other, right, Elaine?
Yes, we are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this really is what it's all about. This is what it's all about. So thank you for bringing that up. And we're,
in Fort Worth, Texas.
yeah. Oh, Fort Worth. Oh my goodness. Okay. So Miss Bay, I am coming on the 12th
Of what?
uh,
April?
of April. Yeah. Yep.
That's cool.
Yes, I'm coming on the 12th. So I would love to see you.
Where are you gonna be at?
I'm gonna be in downtown Dallas. Is that close to you?
No, Fort Worth and Dallas is kind of different. It's hard to explain. But you're gonna be in
Is it
Dallas?
like an hour?
Yeah, it's like an hour.
Oh, okay. It's not too far.
No.
So, yeah, I'm gonna be in downtown. I don't know the address, but somewhere around there. So I'm gonna be in town for the weekend. So, like, just I want us to, stay build up this community, right? Being
Right.
able to help each other. In January, there was a bunch of us that met in person, right? Who was it that there was a couple of us that met in person, but I don't see anybody on the call here. There was about maybe like 15 of us that met in person. So I'm
Must
gonna
have been
put
nice.
it was a delight. It was a delight. So with that being said, I definitely agree with Elaine and with everyone who, just is agreeing to serve and to help and to be a resource and all that stuff. So it is 1:22, so we are going to wrap up the call for today. So if there's any other last questions, please let me know. If not, then we will meet tomorrow. So tomorrow we're going to meet at the same time, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Tomorrow we're going to go over the 508c1a Ministry Trust. And that one is, tax exempt. So we will go over that entire trust document. And then for those of you guys who want to become ordained, I'll show you that process. And then I'll show you the process to get your tax exempt EIN number. So that's our plans for tomorrow. So you will receive an email with the resources that you're going to need for tomorrow. So, which is that template, and then we'll go from there. And then you do have homework for tonight. So God bless you, Miss Patricia. I heard you.
Thank you.
You're so welcome.
Since I am unmuted, can you
Yes.
tell me, is there anyone in Tennessee? I have an urgency with this matter, and I wish I could get something, an appointment to really talk to you about this sooner than the third.
Okay, you know what? I'm gonna call you after I end this Zoom call, okay?
Oh, bless you. Thank you.
You know I got your back.
Okay.
Okay.
Thanks.
All right, so let's wrap up this Zoom call. So you do have homework for tonight. So yesterday I told you guys to go ahead and introduce yourself. Go ahead and get into the Facebook community. So the Facebook community is growing. We're almost at 300 people in the community on Facebook. Not everyone has Facebook, unfortunately, but we have 400 trustees, and 300 of them, or almost 300 of them are inside of the community. So if you're not in there, get in there. And then another thing is, go ahead and introduce yourself, right? So introduce yourself, do like a quick little video, just letting people know, or post a picture of yourself, letting people know who you are. And then also go ahead and post why you decided to become a trustee, right? And in that introduction, let people know where you are. Miss Patricia says she's in Tennessee, right? Miss Bay said that she's in Fort Worth. Elaine is in West Palm Beach, Florida. I'm in Florida, right? I know Miss Terry, she's in Georgia. So there's a few of us. So just let us know where you are, because we are a community and we want to, you know, help and serve others. So let us know why you decided to become a trustee and actually create this legacy or leave this legacy for your family. So let us know in the Facebook community, okay, guys? So that is it for today. So the recording is going to be available in a few hours, and all you have to do is log into the course, right? So you're gonna log into the portal and then choose the option that says workshop recordings, and then scroll all the way down to the bottom. You should see the dates. So you should see March 26th, and then the recording will be available for today and for yesterday, okay? All right, well, with that being said, I hope that that you guys have a blessed rest of your day. I will see you tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and you will receive the Zoom link via email from Aya at least an hour before the call, okay? All right, guys. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Take care.
Take care.